His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tarik received separately credentials of a number of Their Excellencies ambassadors of brotherly and friendly countries accredited to the Sultanate of Oman at Al Alam Palace this morning. His Majesty has received credentials of Her Excellency Stella Kluth, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of His Majesty King William Alexander of Netherlands, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. His Excellency Shayful Anwar Mohammed, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of His Majesty Sultan Abdullah bin Sultan Ahmed Shah, King of Malaysia, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. His Majesty also has received the credential of Her Excellency Veronique Aulognon, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, President of France, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. Then His Majesty received the credentials of His Excellency Williams Morris, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, Queen of the Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and Head of the Commonwealth accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. His Majesty the Sultan received the credentials of His Excellency Khalid Mohammed Abdul Halim, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of His Excellency Abdul Fattah al-Sisi, President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. His Majesty received the credentials of His Excellency Qais Saad Al-Amri, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of His Excellency Dr. Barham Saleh, President of Republic of Iraq, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. His Majesty the Sultan received the credentials of Her Excellency Ligia Maria Scherer, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of His Excellency Jair Bolsonaro, President of the Federal Republic of Brazil, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. And His Majesty received the credentials of His Excellency Amit Narang, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of His Excellency Ram Nath Kovind, President of the Republic of India, accredited to the Sultanate of Oman. During side meetings with His Majesty the Sultan, Their Excellencies the ambassadors conveyed greetings of the leaders of their countries along with their wishes for good health, happiness and long life to His Majesty the Sultan and for Omani people, further progress and prosperity under the wise leadership of His Majesty, expressing their honor and great happiness to present their credentials before His Majesty. Their Excellencies the ambassadors affirmed that they would do their utmost to advance their country's relations with the Sultanate of Oman in various fields to serve the common interest of the Omani people and the peoples of their countries. His Majesty the Sultan welcomed the ambassadors, thanking their leaders of their greetings and good wishes and assuring them that they would receive all support from His Majesty, the government and the Omani people to facilitate their performance of their duties. The ceremony was attended by His Excellency the Minister of the Diwan of the Royal Court, His Excellency the Foreign Minister, Commander of the Royal Guard of Oman, His Excellency the Head of the Royal Protocols and the military SEDs of His Majesty the Sultan.